Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to call our November 12th meeting of the Common Council to order. I will ask our clerk to call the roll.
Alderman May.
Here.
Frankie. Rosie. Frankie.
You're here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Here.
Road. Here. Stefanski.
Here.
Vitale.
Here.
Weigel.
Here.
Barzak.
Here.
Shapleski.
Here.
Haas.
Here.
And Lysick.
Here.
That's 10 present.
A quorum is present. Please rise and join us in the pledge, which will be led by Alderman May this evening.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now we will move right to item D. We have one public hearing this evening, and I will ask our clerk to present that and read that.
The 2020 City of West Allis Mayor's Recommended Budget.
Thank you. Ms. Grill and Ms. Stino.
Good evening. I'm Rebecca Grill. I'm the City Administrator for the City of West Allis, and I'm joined by the Finance Director, Peggy Stino, and we're going to give a brief overview of the Mayor's 2020 Recommended Budget and Action Plan. First thing that we consider when we put together the budget is our vision statement and mission statement for the cities. These are provided on the screen for you. The vision statement is something that we're striving to move towards, aspiring towards, and we're trying to be the preferred community in the Metro Milwaukee area and larger region. Our mission statement is to provide cost-effective municipal services for our citizens and businesses, provide for health, safety, and welfare of the community, quality living and working environment, and provide a positive, progressive, and creative approach to the budget and management and operations of the city. Along with that, we have our core values that our employees are held to: service excellence, continuous improvement, being open and transparent, renewal, and equitable. Probably, the slide has too small of numbers, but this has the demographics of the city of West Allis compared to our neighboring communities and Milwaukee County and the state of Wisconsin. So the median household income for the city of West Allis is almost $48,000. Those who are qualified for SNAP benefits is over 14.6. The age for the city of West Allis is 38, the median age, and then there's about 27,000 occupied housing unit, 1,800 vacant units. Owner occupied are almost 53%. Renter occupied is a little over 47%. The median housing value is almost $140,000, and the estimate for our population for 2017 is a little over 60,000. In 2017, the Common Council adopted a strategic plan which includes 5 goals. The first is image, brand, destination. The second is quality of life. Third is citizen engagement, economic vitality and sustainability. And the fifth is excellence in government. Before we go into how we're going to be accomplishing these goals for 2020, I just want to do a brief recap of what 2019 has brought towards the goals. For the goal number 1, this is the first year we've done our first complete year of our branding and marketing campaign. Phase 1 of the National Avenue Corridor Plan was completed. There's a bus shelter at 92nd and National Avenue was installed. The Farmers Market celebrated the 100th anniversary, and we had a new brand and marketing plan for that. In regards to quality of life, the data that we have For 2019 versus 2018, it shows a decrease of crime of 23%, which is significant. Then we've also installed bike boxes on National Avenue. We're working on opening our first dog park, and the sidewalk poetry was installed on some of the sidewalks. In regards to citizen engagement, we launched a new website for the City of West Allis and have increased website visits by 100%. We held our second annual homeowner resource fair, and then we also had the Better Block Foundation program at 60th and Burnham. For economic vitality and sustainability, there was $15 million allocated for the new market tax credits to support working capital. We worked with Cobalt Partners to acquire 70th and Greenfield, 9 acres there for $87 million redevelopment. We've also launched the Kiva City Initiative, streamlined our payroll and benefit budgets, consolidated a lot of our public works account for ease of accounting and simplifying budgeting, and we implemented the total benefit package, significant reduction of our OPEB liability from 147 to $119 million. That is the other post-employment benefits. That's what OPEB stands for. And then finally, for goal number 5, reaccreditation of our health department, our fire department, and our police department. 100% of our property maintenance complaints are investigated within 24 hours of receipt. And we also won 3 CMA Savvy Awards for our rebranding and our website implementation. So that's just some of the initiatives that we accomplished towards the strategic plan in 2019. Going forward, as part of the mayor's recommended budget, these are some of the goals that we're going to be working towards for 2020. Some of them are included to implement in the budget. Some of them are to look into implementing either in 2020 or in future years. And one of the first things is streamlining our events permitting and licensing process. Then we're also going to be working with a consulting firm to implement mural creation through our Artscape grant program. That's not city funded, it's not a city funded program. It's outside of the general fund budget. Looking at reallocating one of our positions to possible business liaison position to assist businesses with working through the city processes. Create a development assistant team, which would sit down with businesses that are looking to open up in the city of West Allis, to sit down with the different departments to understand all of the things that they would need to accomplish to open their business. Looking at reallocation of citizen committees to expand responsibilities to a park building and grounds commission, a subcommittee of the capital improvement committee. So there's a increased focus on our parks and buildings in the parks. Looking at funding opportunities to implement a grant program for the Burnham Point revitalization, to continue building on the Better Block initiative that was held there earlier this year, and then look at expanding that Better Block initiative to other neighborhoods that might need some assistance in revitalization. The second is the quality of life budget priorities. So we're looking at expanding and replacing a lot of our security cameras. That helps with the police department for investigating crimes and looking into different things. And we've had a number of them already in place for some time, so we need to replace them, but we also need to add some in different locations to be more effective. Looking for implementing or adding into our general fund budget the crisis assessment response team officer. This previously was funded through Milwaukee County funds. Those funds end on December 31st. Looking at working with the school district to explore the addition of a school resource officer, a part-time one at Lane Intermediate School. working with capital funding restrictions, but to replace and install fleet and interview room cameras for the police department. Looking at expanding the fire department intern program to WCTC. I believe it's just with METC right now, and this will expand it to WCTC. Creating a preventive maintenance program for our city parks and open spaces. Develop street lighting conversion plan, and implementing a memory cafe for seniors with city departments and outside agencies. The third strategic goal is citizen engagement. So we're working, this year we had implemented a West Allis Cares program, which is a training program for our employees. We're going to be expanding that to citizens for a Citizen 101 program. We're going to look at increasing the information from our property files that would be available online for citizens for ease of use and finding that information. Looking at options to accept online payments for the majority of our city services. This is something that people have been requesting. It would help streamline some of our processes. Develop and customer and citizen feedback surveys, and then have a review process to do something with the information that you receive, make some changes. Expand the role of our communication strategists to work more with the neighborhood associations and in coordination with the development and the police community service officers. And then work at expanding our citizen resident guide to English and Spanish, and then bring that to other publications that the city has as would be appropriate. The fourth goal is economic vitality and sustainability. So we're looking at implementing a structural deficit action team to make recommendations for service delivery changes. This year we had a significant deficit of, we had significant amount of requests above the amount that we could increase our budget. So in order to go forward, so we are not doing this on an annual basis, we need to make some changes. So this team would be looking through to provide recommendations for the council to consider. Looking at creating a shared position with the bins and assessor's office to look at the residential revaluation and improve the accuracy of the record. Revaluation of residential properties. We just completed the commercial properties this year. So moving that on to the residential properties, that would be a 3-year process. Work to reduce the cost for publications. The state requires that we publish things in a lot of newspapers and things like that, and there's different ways that you can still comply with the legal requirements, but maybe consolidate and save some money. Reduce and consolidate the number of printers that we have. Look on focusing on organizational-wide risk management and emergency government. Implement electronic parking citations. Expand how we use the retired squad cars. Right now they're used by bins inspection staff, maybe looking at more departments to use those vehicles. Facilitate collaboration between citizen-facing service delivery departments and streamlining of department inspection processes. The fifth strategic goal is excellence in government, and the budget priorities for this are working towards selection of virtual city hall software, increasing technology training opportunities for staff. We have invested in a lot of different technology and just making sure that people have the opportunity to learn how to use that the most effective way possible. Implement Office 365, look at providing mobile technology for increased efficiency, reduce the time to fill for our vacant position, converting records and processes to an HRIS and performance system in our HR department, acquire electronic polling books, increase city staff involvement in the election process to ensure accuracy and increase accountability. In 2020, we're going to have 4 elections, and there'll be a significant amount of people involved in that. So having our staff involved will help with the accuracy of that. Implement a boards and commissions module for our Legistar program to increase efficiency with the appointment process. That would be for our boards, commissions, and committee members. Change the codification provider and expand the use of that software to also include our policy and procedure maintenance as well as the municipal code. Standardizing citywide applications for permits, licensing forms, and et cetera. And then look at realigning our strategic plan to make sure that it is aligned with what the citizens currently are looking for. We completed a residential survey this year, and we'll be utilizing that to work towards realigning those activities. The challenges that we face with putting together the budget, the first is the expenditure restraint program. I'll explain a little bit more about that on the next slide. The second is the recruiting and retention of high quality employment. In this environment, the lowest unemployment since the 1969. It's been challenging to recruit and retain employees. We have a lot of facility repairs and maintenance. We completed the facility audit several years ago, and there's a significant amount of maintenance that we need to do to our facilities. We have a lot of challenges with our keeping up with the road sewer replacement, and then our current challenge with the street lights. And then we have, going back to the demographics of the taxpayers, there's limitations on how much people can pay for taxes. And then another consideration is levy limits, but because of the expenditure restraint program, at this time that does not really affect the city of West Allis. The expenditure restraint program is a program where the state of Wisconsin provides money to municipalities, but they do that in a manner which limits the growth in spending. So it's calculated by the rate of budget. The rate of budget growth cannot exceed inflation rate plus an adjustment based on the growth in municipal property values. In our municipality, we don't have a significant increase in property values, so our expenditure restraint program numbers don't go up significantly from year to year. The program limit that what we can increase our budget by for 2020 is $1.455 million. That's our requests for this year were in excess of $3 million. So there is quite the challenge to stay within that limit. If we do stay within that limit, we receive about $1.5 million from the state for adhering to the program requirements. 86.1% of the 2020 budget is allocated towards personnel costs. That has to do with salary and benefits. We have a total of almost 752 positions. 178 of those are more of a temporary nature, a lot of them being election workers. So 574 are benefited positions. Almost 520 are funded through the general fund, and then about 54 are funded through other funding sources. Little over 51% of our personnel are allocated to public safety, and then engineering and public works is almost 27%. General government is 11.6%, and then health, culture, and recreation is 10.4%. The general fund revenues that we receive, the majority of that is from property taxes. As you can see, it's over 61%. We also receive it from other funding sources, the intergovernmental license permit fees, penalties and forfeitures, charges for services, miscellaneous items, and then transfers. This is a slide that just shows the actual expenditures for 2017-18, the budget from 2019, and then what we're looking at for 2020 regard to those different funds in general government, public safety, public works, health, culture, and recreation. So the majority of our expenditures go to our public safety departments. It's over 56% of the budget. Then next is public works at 19.15, general government 16.69, and then health, culture, and recreation is 7.76. So a little background information on the equalized value, assessed value, local tax rate. Probably the most popular rate on this is the local tax rate. The estimate is at 11.56 for 2019. We don't have the overall tax rate because we're still waiting for information from other taxing authorities. You see that the general fund revenues equal the general fund expenditures. Those, we cannot exceed the amount of money that we're taking in with our budgeting process. This is a fact sheet regarding the budget. On this form, it breaks it down by the different sections of government, but towards the bottom, the last blue section of note is what the taxes would be on a $150,000 home. In 2019, they were about $1,729. For 2020, the estimate is that they would be $1,733, an increase of $467. The next steps for the process is we'll be meeting with Administration and Finance Committee following this public hearing tonight, and then the council will be considering the recommended budget next Tuesday at the Common Council meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know if there's any questions.
Does anybody from the Common Council have questions?
Mr. Mayor.
Alderman Vitale?
Yeah, Rebecca, I would like to ask you the portion of the benefits in regard to the reduction of the OPB.
The OPEB?
Yeah, OPEB. So why was 147 million? Now it's down to 114 million. So what's the difference? I mean, if you can explain.
I believe some of it had to do with different accounting measures, but a majority of it had to do with the implementation of the total benefit package.
Yes.
I think that changed how long people would be getting their post-retirement benefits and things like that. So that was one of the reasons why the council sought fit to implement that program for new employees. And as time goes on, the OPEB liability will decrease even more.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the council? Seeing none, are there any members of the audience with questions?
Well, I see Ed. Deputy Chief, Pete, Tony.
All of you? Okay. If there are no questions from our audience this evening, I will close our public hearing, and I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
Mayor Devine.
Alderman Lysick.
I move that we adjourn until our next regularly scheduled meeting, Tuesday, November 19th at 7 p.m.
Second.
There's a motion with a second by Alderperson Reinke. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? We are adjourned.